What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here. We just watched episode 9 of season 2 of Frieren. We're going to be talking full spoilers ahead, so hopefully you've had a chance to watch this, and we'll do a real quick recap. Basically, while on their adventure, Frieren and friends run into a town that's been damaged by a flight of dragons. She reminisces about having dealt with dragons in the past, and they are tasked with taking out the dragons in exchange for a grimoire that allows you to do tongue twisters without getting your tongue twisted, because that's all they got. So yeah, they kill all the dragons. We'll talk about that in detail in a sec, and then go back, get the grimoire, and continue on their way, while also discussing how Frieren on her original journey with Himmel was taught the philosophy of, like, if you do something for someone, you take what they can give you, basically, because otherwise they're in debt to you, and did you even help them at all if they're in debt to you? So there's kind of a moral there with the story. Then they continue on their journey. They end up having to stop at a port town because they need a ferry across it or go around this gigantic lake, but the weather is bad because it's a bad season, and so they stayed there for months, apparently, flying by. And then eventually, when the weather gets better, they ask if they can go across with the ferryman, but he needs payment, and they don't have enough for it because Frieren was buying up grimoires while she was waiting. So they do a little exchange, just like before, where he wants into a I forgot what kind of building it is, but
Monostat?
Monastery?
Monastery.
Isn't Mondstadt a thing? Anyway, that has like a force field around it, so he needs them to open up so they can get in there, and they do that. She finds Himmel's memoir, reads it a little bit, and the old guy basically sees that there's some sentimentality there, so he says he doesn't want that book. There's plenty of books here that he could use to make money, and so deal's done. He's going to do his end of the bargain. On their way, they end up running into a Kraken in the middle of this gigantic lake. Really weird, there's a Kraken there. And it snatches up Frieren, and she's telling them how to dispatch the Kraken in interrupted instructions, because she's being dragged in the water very calmly. And the only person freaking out is Stark. But in the next episode, I'm sure they will take care of it. Thoughts?
Or it'll be an off-screen thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun episode. It was just more of the journey at this point. I don't think we're going to have any more major beats for the rest of the season. So, but the two mini adventures were pretty fun. I enjoyed watching Stark just run through a bunch of dragons, just taking them out like crazy, and then being lifted in the air by his head.
Yeah, that was weird.
Which was,
and they even brought that up, because I was
yeah.
like, that thing's literally like biting his head, and then later they're like it was chewing on your head, and I'm like, that's wild.
Yeah, and twice now in this season they've mentioned it. His endurance is monstrous, basically. So
It would have to be, with the whole scene with the dragons like turning into a ball around him and rolling around.
yeah.
So he handled it.
But again, it was nice to see Stark in action again. So as Frieren and Fern just kind of sniped from the sides. Then the ridiculous payment, as Frieren always takes. It was nice to kind of get an explanation on why she's so willing to do things for like such menial rewards, really.
Even though Stark calls her out and says that you just want the grimoires.
True. It is her hobby for sure. But
Yeah.
it is kind of a funny philosophy, because like I don't think of it that way, obviously, when I do people favors, but it is interesting to hear that you don't want them to feel indebted to you, right? And so you just give them an opportunity to be done with the deed at that point. So makes sense. And then the next one, typical. We've run into this a couple times now. They get stuck in crappy weather, and they're stuck there for a while, which is fun to see a show actually like handle an adventure where it's basically like, the weather's just like too bad. You can't really keep going forward, because a lot of shows will just ignore that kind of stuff. And obviously, pacing wise, it's not going to work for every show. So.
Or they'll have an episode about that, like they ran into like snow or something like that. But because this show has like this chronicle that's happening. It's like the saga. They can skip months, which is kind of scary to think that we're skipping through months of these people's lives, but it does allow for the story to progress in a interesting way. Yeah.
Well, and we were told that the original journey with Himmel's party was a 10-year journey to get to the Demon King's castle. So are we going to see Fern and Stark get older even in the show? It's kind of an interesting question.
They're going to have to, because we've already seen Fern get older.
Yeah.
And I technically we've seen Stark get older, but not visually. He doesn't look that much older. But I mean, I feel like we're going to have to see that, because
either they're going to find
months are flying by.
Yeah. So, or it'll just be anime magic. We'll see. Yeah, and then them going in and getting the barrier down so they get the books or whatever. As they leave, and then she's kind of going through the book, and it's got all these silly catchphrases because Himmel's all about like cheesy poses and saying dorky things, type of thing. Stark decides to try one out, and perfect timing. This Kraken shows up, and I love that we now come back to the tongue twister spell that Frieren decides to use while she's just being thrown around, because she's not going to trip over her words with that spell. So it did come in use somehow. So,
perfect timing.
Yeah. But yeah, fun episode. Next episode's the last one. Sad to see it go, but looking forward to seeing it. So.
Yeah, and then this is the show where it's not going to continue, right? Because the manga hasn't.
There's not enough material yet.
Gone anywhere. Yeah, so that's a little rough. But oh well, as long as they finish this one off in a good way, it was a good run. Hopefully we get another season sometime. Yeah, it was a good episode. It was definitely another like I guess kind of like more chill, like slice of life episode of like them just doing these little mini adventures and kind of harkening back to Frieren's past experiences and like playing around with the idea of morality, which I thought was pretty fun. The fight with the dragons I felt like was a little rushed, not in a negative way, but I was kind of expecting a little bit more from it. But they just went in there and just exterminated them, which was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Also, Stark just running in and chopping them up like a lawnmower was a little alarming. I didn't realize he's come that far. So good to know. And then, of course, Frieren and Fern are just back there sniping everybody. So, that was cool. And then I did like the little flashback of why Frieren, and I think there's truth to both. I think she wants the grimoires because that's definitely her character, but also there is some truth behind that she is just accepting certain things for these missions or these quests or whatever. So, I did like exploring that philosophy, I guess. And then, like I said, kind of in my recap, hate to see months fly by in the show, but also it's an interesting narrative choice to, have montages where that much time goes by, where nothing happened, seemingly. It was just them hanging out. But yeah, going to the monastery and getting more background on Himmel and the whole journey, I thought was neat. I always enjoy that. The show's really good about building current lore and exploring past lore. So
we basically just get to watch both of her adventures at the same time.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to tell a story while telling two stories, because we're not filled in on what happened. We know what happened, but we don't have all the details. There's a lot of things we might not even know actually happened back then that could be revealed eventually that would further explain certain things, or Frieren herself. So, which I enjoy. And yeah, the Kraken. I don't know if this is going to be the big ending of them taking out the Kraken. I'm sure the next episode will just start. They'll finish it, and then we'll go into the final phase of them ending it. So, but it's an interesting way to kind of taper off the season, because obviously the last couple episodes were a big event. So, and I don't expect this to be that. So, but yeah, pretty funny, especially with Stark saying something right at the time about monsters or something.
Basically, like putting out a challenge in a very like dorky heroic way.
Yeah, and then a Kraken just shows up,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, of course that happens. Yeah, overall, really good episode, really chill episode. I enjoyed it, and looking forward to, and not looking forward to, next episode to watch it, but also knowing that that's the end of the season because I've really enjoyed this season. So, spoiler for when we do our full review of the season, but it's been solid. So, yeah, that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope.
All right, well, let us know in the comments what you guys think about this episode. Favorite parts, least favorite parts, if you have any complaints. And what do you think about where things are going? Unless you know, please don't tell us. And anything that happened in the episode that we didn't talk about that you want to talk about, let us know in the comments. And recommendations. We're nearing the end of the season. We got to finish out 2 other animes that we'll be doing season reviews for. We'll be doing those soon. We are watching Trigun. We are watching JJK. We'll be putting out a review for the latest episode right after this, and stay tuned for that. But yeah, if you have any recommendations for next season, let us know, and we'll take it into consideration. And yeah, I think that's everything. I've been Seth, this has been Chevy. Until the next review, we will talk to you guys later.